Hey everybody, it's me, Jonathan Millard, the voice of the Veil, back with another Big Hype podcast. I brought to you with our exclusive sponsors, Bravos Boxing Gloves. Protect yourself at all times whilst wearing Bravos. Combat Ticks, which are a platform for tickets and fighters for selling. It's great. Go check them out. And of course, our preferred charity of choice, Boxers in Need. But joining me from his home near London somewhere, I want to say, but I might be really wrong on that because I'm used to this on locations, as we all know by now. I give it up for Coza Boxing. Corrie, how you doing, Corrie, mate? You're right.
I'm good, mate. How are you today?
Mate, we were talking before we started. It's cold and it's just slow. Everything's just
an energy draining
slow.
day, man. It's an energy draining day.
It is, and it's one of those things. But you said you didn't get until late, so we'll find out about that and what you do for work in a minute. But first and foremost, same question I've asked everyone who's come on the podcast so far, which is how and why did you get involved in boxing?
I'm going to put this D&D on before everyone. As you probably can imagine, it's a bit of a busy one. So me personally, I started boxing as more of an outlet for my mental health. I found for me that it was more of, rather than being medicated as I was from young ages, I found even hitting the bag was a really good outlet for my ADHD. From there, it just kind of shot up to me getting others on the same kind of wavelength. And I realized that it's a good domino effect. If someone sees you doing something well and they're struggling with similar things that you have, it kind of goes in turn with making people a lot happier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what was it that drew you into boxing? You said you started doing it. Was that someone suggested it, or was it something you just?
It's more of it's actually a random occurrence. I was in a bit of a housing situation, and I was living in a YMCA. And obviously, for me, being what I've got wrong with me, I thought gym would be a good outlet. In the gym was a boxing bag, obviously, and it just went from there, hitting the boxing bag. Ended up going into an amateur gym after that. Then obviously got involved with the unlicensed scene, and here we are today, just trugging along with it.
How old were you roughly when you first started?
This would have been, if I'm honest with you, November, not like I think early 2 years ago from now. So,
so sure.
I started training.
Yeah.
And then obviously now we're sitting here, 2026, so 2020, end of 2024, I believe, like late 2024. I started properly.
So not
consistently trained
long.
From June.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. So is it like, I don't know, I was trying to phrase it, but is it the structure around, because the structure of going to the gym, going in, we've chatted on the WhatsApp or whatever. And you saying, I want to get in this session, I want to get on that session. We've kind of missed each other a few times, but we managed to get a date and time down. But is it because you find that structure it makes things easier for you to deal with?
Structure is a big thing. Obviously, I've got Asperger's, so obviously routine and structure are a massive factor. But I feel it's but there's so many more things. Boxing in general it feels like the solution mentally for a lot of problems. So for instance, people come from backgrounds of not having much family. You go into a boxing gym, tell me another place you feel more welcome when you're fighting around the same people. You have some people struggle with, not my ADHD I have, but anger ADHD, when they have them angry bursts. What's the best thing to do to learn you discipline and control that? Boxing, you're anxious, go into a gym because people don't care who you are. There can be someone who's from a completely different background. You've got someone who could be a fresh out of prison convict and a police officer training next to each other on a bag. It's one of them sports or one of them environments that, like, as you are well aware, there's no definition. It's what you put in, the work you put in, if it makes your reputation, the past you come from, etc. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. In those gyms, it's one of the greatest equalizers of all. Exactly. Being in a boxing gym, because rich, poor, small, tall, young, old, it doesn't matter.
There's no social divide in them gyms.
No.
I wish we could all take a leaf out of that in life, but
life would be easier. So what does a typical day look like for you then, training and working? You said you finish work at 2:30 this morning. We're recording this at lunchtime on a Saturday. So, you've had probably a couple of hours kip.
Yep.
Is what do you do for a living? What does a normal day look like for you?
Normal day for me, if I'm honest with you, as I say that the dog comes running up to be involved. A normal day for me. So throughout the week, obviously, I just work part time on the weekends, I'm doing the doors and such. I'm a head doorman. For me, I'd say, well, right now I'm in camp. I've got a lot of fights planned this year, so it would be wake up, obviously intimate fast as I do most days until 12, just to keep the weight at a certain level. I've realized my inflows and outflows for that is the best way to do it. I'd end up taking the dog out for an hour or so. I'd start the day with a little jog, maybe a light one. From that, obviously, you'd eat something a bit heavier because then that's fueling your day. I'd usually head to the gym if I've got sparring or such during the day. If not, if I'm honest with you, most of my days are admin. My nighttime is my training. So 9:45, sometimes until even 2, 3 a.m. I'll be in the gym. Like I prefer sometimes training on my own, if it makes sense, when it comes to having a lot of fights coming up. Because I feel like, as I said about the social aspect of boxing, for me, someone with ADHD, I love talking. I love like talking to people. So when I'm in the gym sometimes, and obviously there's people around me that I just think, wow, like they're doing the same thing. I feel like I'm not putting as 110% in as I would if I went at 9:45 and no one was in the gym.
I know you're paying me on this one because I'm that type of guy as well.
Do you know?
I'm like I'll walk it. To be honest with you, I haven't been to the gym for a while. So, but when I used to go to the gym a lot,
Yeah.
I'd jump on the treadmill and then I'd be like chatting to the people next to me. I'm trying to have
Yeah.
conversations, and they got the earphones. They're like, "Fuck off, go away! I don't want to listen to you, mate. I'm just trying to focus
Do you
and
know
do
what I've
what I." And I'm
realized?
like, "Yeah, how was your weekend, mate? Yeah,
But you know what it is for people, for us, I feel like, but for you feel like, okay, it makes my session go so much faster because I'm chatting away. I'm not realizing the time. But then I realized, I believed this until my coach told me, he said to me, okay, you come to the gym with me at 10 p.m., no music, we don't speak. I went in there for 20 minutes. It felt like 20 minutes. I was there for 2 hours. It's kind of like a flow state because there's no
yeah,
music, there's nothing. You kind of just learn to like muscle memory. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Okay."
It's a great feeling when you look at the clock, you're like, it's 10 p.m. now. Wow, it's like midnight. How long have I been here? Like, it's work, man. It's all the work.
So what's the biggest lesson then? I mean, guessing from what you just said there about that muscle memory skill set that you've learned. What's the biggest thing that you've learned, and what really gets the needle moving for you when you're trying to get trained and get ready for fights? Because as you said, you've got quite a few fights coming up now in
Yeah.
March and February, end of February. I've noticed there's one or two on your
I was going to do another
Instagram.
one on the 31st, but obviously one of the opponents I was meant to fight pulled out. But I'm looking at 10 this year. I'm looking for 10 this year
Okay.
because I lost I'll be honest with you, I lost my bouts last year. And that will lead into answering your question. I lost both my bouts. I jumped in against a 4 or 5 bouter. And if I'm honest with you, if I was more experienced, would have been brilliant. If not, okay, cool, it was a race fin decision. But I think for me, what gets me going now is that thought of someone else winning and that thought of not letting people down around me, but letting myself down. I was training so hard and I felt like I was training amazing, but I wasn't training correctly. So all that training I did, there's no point because now, if put in a way that's like, if I look at myself now, if I was jumping the ring with me on that Jude fight, I'd be done in a round. Like it's that level of like, wow, the improvements I'm seeing. So for me, what gets my muscle memory going the most is it's my brain is thinking, just like envisioning the win, envisioning like your end goals when it comes to this. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As you can probably imagine, like with ADHD and Asperger's, my brain's a lot different. I'm always boom, 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 boom. So for me to actually slow down, it takes a lot. But that I feel like for me, that gets me on like a robotic mode when I think, okay, it's time to lock in, it's time to train, rah, 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 rah. Just silence and my own brain.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm just going back through your Instagram to find that fight because that was Dennis the
Yes.
Menace, and that was the fight
Fight Zumi.
Zumi
That was my
versus
first ever act. That was
Obi
minus the
Promotions. I've
charity
done a bit
event.
with
That
them.
was my first bout.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that was
Amazing.
a big show. They asked me to do that, and I couldn't for whatever reason get involved with it. But they are good promotions.
They are a decent promotion, if I'm honest. I really do like the way they're structured and the way they do things. They care. As you can imagine, hearing a promoter cares is a big thing in this industry.
It is. It is, mate. It is, mate. It's, and so what? Going from so you came into it. You went into hitting the YMCA. You've done it. You've done a UWBC fight as well, ultra white collar fight show
I've
as
done
well.
that in 2023, I believe.
Okay. What? And then obviously you've gone into that semi sort of professional sort of ring remit that we've got with Fight Zumi, OB.
Yep.
There's a couple of others out there as well that do something very similar as well. What's the biggest differences between those three then? So amateur, white collar, and semi-pro.
I wouldn't know about amateur. Obviously, only thing I'd know about amateur would be from talking to the boys in the gym and obviously sparring amateur fighters and such. I feel like this is, bear in mind, from an unexperienced opinion when it comes to amateur. I feel like amateur's more high paced. It's more milling. You go in there, boom, boom, boom. You got 3 rounds, and sometimes you're like to get knockouts, sometimes you're not. But it's unlikely due to obviously the safety precautions, knockouts.
Yeah,
you know
sorry,
I mean?
I made an assumption. And I should have asked really, shouldn't
It's all
I?
right.
Because you said you went into the amateur gyms. I assumed that you had 1 or 2 fights with the
what
amateurs.
it was I was training at an amateur gym for a semi-pro fight, which, do you know what I mean? It doesn't line up.
Right.
But obviously I've got a little bit from sparring the amateurs and seeing the way they spar and such. It's high pace. You're going at it, scoring, because in the semi-pros and in pro, obviously, you see the ref isn't going to step in and give you standing counts as much unless you're wrong. Whereas in the amateurs, a good clean shot will give you a standing count 9 times out of 10. Obviously, in my opinion, that's not fact.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. So, just what's your experience then going from the white collar stuff to the semi-pro
That's
stuff?
a completely different kettle of fish. The white collar, if I'm honest, I got a TKO, I think, in round 2. I knocked the guy down in the second round, and then I managed to finish him in the second as well. I don't know. If I'm honest with you, I feel like if you're looking at it from like a non-boxing perspective, semi-pro is the closest you'll get to being a pro. Do you know what I mean? It's the closest thing that can make you feel like you're doing it on a pro stage. White collar, I feel, is more, obviously it's charity and such. The training is only 8 weeks long. I don't know now, because I've realized now they let you spar. Back when I did the white collar, you didn't let you spar. There was no sparring involved.
Okay.
It was, here's a drill, dun, 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 here's light sparring, but it will never be in the ring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like, we've got to look at it this way now. Look at Wardley, for instance. Wardley done the unlicensed scene and then went on to go professional. But then you've got people from the amateur scene who went pro, and then you've got obviously blah, blah, blah. But I feel like the semi-pro scene for me is really up and coming right now. Like, I done it at the perfect time. I didn't jump on it when it became massively popular. I jumped on it just before. I feel like, white collar's good for me, to round it off. I think white collar's good as a starting point. Obviously, if you want to do it for a good cause, which is the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
But for experience, I think white collar is a good starting point.
Okay.
It'll give you a taste for like, okay, here's how it's going to be on an event. It's great. But I feel like when you go into the semi-pro scene, what I did, I went into the deep end. I didn't go to no small show. I went straight into OB, sold 50 odd tickets, and had thousands of people there. Do you know what I mean? So it's surreal.
What was it like walking out to that, in that arena kind of environment, considering the differences between
the differences for walkout?
Yeah.
I don't think I was smiling as much on my Zumi debut. But if I'm honest with you, it sounds really bad, but I had 2 weeks of coaching. I didn't have a coach for my whole camp for the first fight. Luckily, there was a lady called Ilgi. She took me on. She's a coach out of she was a Fenerbahce boxing coach. And she took me on for the 2-3 weeks. And if I'm honest, that gave me the confidence to actually step into that ring. My corner team dropped out. I had a friend who got me onto the Fight Zumi shows. And he ended up dropping out due to whatever he had going on in his life. And it kind of like took me away a bit.
Okay.
She was in the corner, whatever, but it was great walking out. I don't know, man. I don't think I've ever got anything to match it. That feeling of that stage, going from white collar, walking down, obviously everyone cheering for you, to this is you can't really compare it. If I'm honest, there's no pyrotechnics with the white collar. There's pyrotechnics. There's things crazy.
Big difference. Did you have any nerves? Did you have any?
Nerves,
how did you handle it?
Of course. If you don't go into a fight nervous, then you're stupid. As bad as it sounds, you're stupid. Nerves are a natural human response to everything. Do you know what I mean? If you don't go in there with nerves, then you're overconfident. You're going to get hurt. Don't get me wrong. If it's a complete mismatch, cool, great. But nerves are a good thing. Nerves are what keep our adrenaline at a stable level and tell it needs to go. If your nerves go before that, that's what it's called about, as you probably know, breaking the mental of an opponent. Their nerves go before you, that's when it becomes an easy fight. Do you know what I mean? So nerves, yeah, 100%. I was nervous.
How did you handle it? Did you just kind
Get
of
on, just get on
dig
with it.
deep?
There's no
Just
other
go on
option
with it?
for it. Just get on with it. There's no
Yeah.
other option. When it comes to, it's the same thing I say to people when they say about, oh, should I start boxing? It's a barrier. That's all this stuff in life is a barrier. And you can probably agree with me here. Going to do these fights, unless you have actually something stopping you physically, there's nothing stopping you. Like, so it's just pushing past it and walking through it. So I'm nervous to walk out. Moment I went through that threshold at the door, finished. That's it. Like, I was smiling, I was happy. Yeah, I lost at the razor thin, but I still smiled, happy, head
Yeah.
high. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just was thinking what you said there. I mean, thinking was what you said about people's metal going. There's been times where
Yes.
I've turned up to shows and fights were agreed and everything was going on. They turn up at the way and they have a look at the opponent and then they go, oh, don't like that, or they see a video on Facebook or something or Instagram or TikTok and they've watched this guy sparring and they're like, oh, actually, I might not want to take that fight. He might be,
You know what it
it's
is? Can I be
yeah,
honest with you? Like, you probably can understand
it's
this as
hard.
well. Like,
It's hard
I've
though.
realized, like, people sparring and such as well. It's another thing. Sparring and fight footage is 20 times different things. Like, I just said about mental sparring. Anyone can be comfy. So, like me, for instance, I'm so comfortable sparring in my gym. I love my gym. Like, I feel amazing there. It's completely different in the ring. The nerves are. Is the spotlight is on the nerves in the sparring arena. The spotlight isn't on the nerves. It's on both of you. Whereas in that ring, it's just the nerves. That's all it comes down to.
And it's a different atmosphere, isn't it, from being in the gym, comfortable,
You've got
in a
another
condition
coach
you know.
shouting from
Yeah,
the other side of the ring, and you're trying to filter him out to hear your one, to then watch your opponent. There's so many subconscious things going on at the same time. It can be very overstimulating for some people. That's why I feel like sparring's amazing to do. Get in there with it, but you definitely need fight. That's what the fight experience. That's why the white collar is a good thing to start with, because that gives you a little taste in it of like, okay, here's what I'm going to expect when I go on to this level.
yeah. Yeah. And it varies, if I, white collar company to white collar company. I know I've worked with one for a long time and I know that, they have different ways of doing it but it is still a good experience to get yourself a little bit. When you said that, I think of another guest that we've had on the podcast, Tilney Irish, when she came on. That's how she started. She started doing lockdown in the garage and then she kind of went into white collar sort of stuff. And now she turned professional. So it's, again, she's gone a slightly different route, but very similar in that respect as well. And it gave her, as she said, the same, very similar. It gives you a good experience, a good grounding, so you can progress on. And like you said, Wardley, is another great example of that. I mean, he's
Big
going to be fighting
example,
Dubois soon,
especially now.
so good on him. How would you describe your style then of boxing, your style of fight?
Can I put it in one word?
Go for it.
Scatty.
I
I'm a
love it.
scatty boxer.
I love it.
Obviously, mate, like, bear in mind, I've gone from coach to coach now, and now I've finally settled with one of my coaches now, and he's kind of taught me more of a, it sounds weird, but not a pure Soviet style, but because I'm long, I've got really good reach. I'm 6'1", bordering 6'2", with very good reach. He's taught me more of a Soviet style. He obviously learned from my gym owner, and obviously his background or whatever, but I feel like now it's very movement based, scatty, and long. That's the only ways I could describe it. Like, I don't mind getting in the pocket with someone. I can fight very well in the pocket, but I feel so comfy just picking away at people. Do you know what I mean?
Keeping me on
Scatty
range.
is the word to do it.
You know what? If all boxers that are slightly taller and allowed good length could reach, follow that instruction.
It would be a problem. It would be a problem.
Not saying anymore. How do you score yourself on a when you've had a good session? I mean, you've been in the gym and you've picked off, you've gone through all your emotions, you're happy. How do you describe yourself after feeling that? Where are you mentally, physically? Where are you?
Every single time I finish a session, if I'm honest with you, and if there's any video anyone sees of me at the end of sessions, it's surreal. I'd score a 10, mate. I'm not even just saying that. The moment I finish that session, I don't finish my sessions. That's why I say I'm in there till 4 a.m. sometimes, until I know, like, I've hit a certain threshold that I need to hit mentally. And it sounds silly, but like, if anyone actually was in that gym with me without me realizing and watching that, they'd understand that I'll push myself to another limit. Because obviously all this boxing and such is great, but the reason I do all this is more to deliver a message. So it's not like for me, it's just, okay, I'm training to fight this guy. I'm training for everything. I'm training for the next step after that fight and the fight after that. As I said, I'm doing 10 this year. So the whole year's a camp. So for me, it's
Wow.
just
Okay.
about
That's impressive.
building, building to a pinnacle at the end, which hopefully, like will be on a big show. So for instance, I'm fighting in York Hall on, I think in May on the Jump Home show. Do
That's
you know
awesome.
what I mean? So something
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
that is great to train for because that's a iconic venue. Do you know what I mean?
It's love-hate relationship with the York Hall I have. That's my honest opinion now. I love it because of its history, because of its because of everything that's happened there over the
Historic
years.
value of that place, boxing wise,
But
is
when you go
massive.
in and it's Baltic. It's worse than some of the leisure centres.
Really,
Oh, it can be.
you're giving me a bit of a hint now on what to wear to the event.
If you've got a nice day in June, hopefully that'll be a nice,
I think we're looking at May. I think my home.
May, June. Now that's a nice
Yeah.
time to be in the York
Hey,
Hall.
my birthday's
If
in
you're in
June.
the
Let's hope the
July,
sun comes out.
oh, we're both. Are you Gemini as well?
I am 17th.
There you go. See, look, I see two Geminis. This is crazy.
There we go. See, we're not bad people. Never
We're
mind the
not.
star charts. Geminis are not bad people. I'm good
Soon,
reasoning.
I don't know into all that stuff.
I've already heard it, mate. Too much.
I've been told that I'm way too many people in personalities in one. So I was like, okay, I don't thought maybe that makes me Legion. I don't know, but
know what I mean?
anyway, no. Your call back to your
Yep.
thing. It is a great venue, and it is because when you work it is one of the phenomenal venues that you can kind of go tick. I've been there, I've done that, and any boxer in the UK and abroad actually all sort of say about the York Hall. They're like, yeah, it's iconic, and it's if you can have just one fight there, and put that on your resume. Yeah, I think you made it. At that
It's a
point.
big thing to have on the resume, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So that was sparring. How would you describe yourself after a fight? If you're going back to those fights you've had now since June last
Okay,
year, how would you describe those? How would you describe the feelings after that? How
so
do you
I'd
go through
say,
those?
obviously, I lost my fights. So after the first fight, I lost a decision. I went home and ran a personal best 5K.
Wow.
So like
Okay.
it's sad, mate. I'm a very emotional person. If I'm honest, when I feel like I put work in, even though it was the incorrect method of training, I feel like I let myself down to other people. And obviously, with what I'm trying to do within the industry, it takes a couple of steps back. But on the other hand, I feel like taking those losses last year kind of cemented myself as the carrier of the message I'm trying to bring. So my stuff's all mental health, as I said. So I feel like people would have expected me to be like, okay, forget this, I'm done. But
Yeah.
nah, I feel like that ignited something more for this year. That's why I'm sitting here going for 10 because I feel like, okay, let me have these fights and the next year I'm taking back both them opponents. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel like, I like bearing in mind, I cried after my second fight. I was in tears in front of the whole arena. I literally cried on my friend's shoulder because I lost my mental, as we say about mental, my mental went in before I even got in the ring. My mental went after that fight. And yeah, it was a bad experience. There was certain things in the arena that kind of triggered me a bit mentally, and it was more like, yeah. But yeah, I felt
You dug
distraught,
deep.
but motivated,
Yeah.
and distraught but motivated.
Yeah, it sounds like you've dug deep with those now, and you've turned the L's into logs, throwing them onto the fire, and personal
There
best
you
5K
go.
afterwards.
Exactly.
That speaks volumes in the fact that you're not going to give up. You're going to
But
keep going
I
and
can't
carry on.
quit. I can't quit, mate. But obviously, as I say, it's all the mental health stuff. If I go ahead and quit, then it proves the stigma that you can't do it. You can do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go pro one day, and I'm gonna have the exact same mentality. That's it. Like
You
no
heard it
matter
here
what it
first.
is, I feel like I'm learning from someone that basically started in June last year properly to the way I'm boxing now. I'm sparring with some of my coaches. Like it's to that point. Like one of the coaches in the gym I
Okay.
spar now and again.
Yeah.
He's a good boxer. Obviously, there's levels to it. Now, I'm not sparring like say the ex-pro coaches and such, but do you know what I mean? Like still sparring the coaches is a big thing, and like I feel like I've shot up so highly because them losses made me think to myself, like that's my motivation. Every time I feel like, cool, my body's gonna give up, I think the other guy's hands are getting raised, not yours, mate. So why are you gonna stop doing this? He could be doing
Yeah.
this right now and you're not slowing down.
It's
So
gonna
you
be,
keep pushing.
Yeah. You kind of already beat the next question because you've already alluded to it. But where do you see this going? Where do you see
I
Cozy
see
going?
I see myself hopefully going pro. Not even I see myself going pro one day. My end ambition, if I'm honest with you, is to open a gym. I want to open a
Okay.
gym and have it for obviously accessible boxing, youth advocacy, which is more. We have no youth centers, so I want to have it so it's the alternate to youth centers. So obviously, kids from distraught backgrounds, etc., gang-related violence and such, to the gym. I don't want the gym to be charging extortionate amounts because most gyms nowadays, it's not affordable. And there's kids out there who could, rather than being on the street and getting into trouble, could be doing something constructive with their life. Do you know what I mean? I want to do that and hopefully just more consistently raise awareness that boxing is a form of medicine that everyone should take if they feel like they're looking for that outlet. So that's where I see it going. I see myself becoming more of a huge advocate and eventually, once retiring from pro, doing that.
So this is the after thing, but you're gonna turn pro as well.
Yeah, I want to go pro. I definitely want to go.
Okay.
I'll say it here. I don't know if I've said it on any other podcast before, but I'll say it here. My actual ambition here is we've got 2 guys at my gym on their pro debuts coming up this year. So obviously we've got Joanne Elias and Vittori going pro this year. They that's the kind of footsteps I want to follow. I think they both come from the amateur background, but I'm more looking to see, as it's a home show in York Hall, I feel like if I prove to the main man of the gym that I am ready at some point, or they see some certain level of potential, that he will put me on the same. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
One day. So that's kind of the door I want to
Yeah.
open when the time comes. I feel like do this year, get my losses back, keep it consistent, and hopefully that conversation will strike up. If not, there's obviously alternate routes, but
Yeah.
that's the one I want to go for. That I think that would make me more heartfelt going through my gym. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think that's again, I think you've got a plan and stick to it and follow it through and see where it takes you. You know, well, again, yeah, absolutely. That bit of opening up your own gym, perhaps even contributing to the gym you're already with. Again, there's opportunities there. I'm sure, and they will present themselves when the times are right. And I
Even
fully
if I
believe
don't
that
open my
happens.
own, as long as there's a section for the key things, the mental health, the youth advocacy, and the outreach, and the accessible boxing, as long as them 3-4 things are in place, I'm happy to do it with anyone.
Yeah, because
That's
it
end of
sounds
the
like
day.
something you could do in a couple of different places and bring more than just in one place.
You understand this. We can't, as individuals, we can't change the world. We can't change the world. But I can have a conversation with you, and you can have it with one person, who's then that domino effect. That's how things change. It's about people proving something to someone who then passes that message on, and then it's like passing the torch. That's why people say to me, "Oh, when I first started this, they were like, oh, but if you're doing this, who's actually going to hear it?" Well, loads of people have heard it. I've got people who have mentioned me that I've started boxing because of you. I'm going to have my first fight this. I'm going to have this, like stuff like that. You can't buy that.
Yeah.
You can't buy that level of like, wow, I've changed someone's life around.
You turn up to a show and there's thousands of people in the show. The podcast, my podcast gets a good couple of hundred views, and again, there's again other platforms that you've been on, and Instagram as well. All these social media, the eyes are on and the ears are on always. So there's definitely ways forward there as well.
This all makes you unlock your true character. Obviously, there's easier ways to get led astray in the world. Easy ways. When you're doing stuff, as you 100% understand, like there's certain ways you gotta act, and it becomes normal behavior. That certain things that you would have done potentially before or said before, not things that could be classed as wrong, but maybe not political, but like questionable. Do you know what I mean? Stuff that you could maybe like. There's too many answers for it, so I'm more direct now. I feel like boxing itself and all of this stuff has made my character develop the way it should have. So I'm more direct. I'm 100% more confident in the way I speak. There's so many things I can't put a note down to it. Do you know what I mean? It's big for character development as well. All of
I think
this.
so. It does make people. It does make people boxing. So yeah, definitely. You've got let's talk about the fights coming up. You've got 2 fights coming up that I know of. You may have more because what you just said.
What? If I'm honest with you, we've got
what's the next thing?
Currently, 2 currently. I've got 28th of February, Marshall Promotions in St Albans. That's going to be my first fight back in the ring this year. Looking forward to that very much. Obviously, local. I went college in St Albans. That's going to be brilliant. I've got a few friends and such coming to that one. Obviously, big up James Marshall for getting that one on. He built his promotion. Good. Like, very good. I remember when he spoke to me the first time about it, being like, I'm going to start a promotion. I was like, yeah, cool. Here's some advice from me because I've been on the promos. I look at him now. He's got a big show coming up. Then I've got Future of Boxing, 7th of March in Kingston circuit, which is going to be, I'm very excited for this one. Jab show coming up.
Promotion.
Have you been on there?
I've worked with Harry once or twice.
Okay, I haven't been on Future Boxing yet, so I'm excited. Okay, what
That
else
is
we
a
got?
good. Kingston's a good. It's a good little. It's a good. What's the word I want to say? Like it's no. It's just like how to describe it. It's not quite. It's like intensive, but it's not. Do you know? It's kind of there's room for movement around the ring, which is always
You
good.
know what it is when it's
But there's
too packed?
room. Yeah, it's no, it's full because the people are a little bit further away from you. They're
Okay.
not right up against the ring. So there's when it's full, it's again all the people are in. It's a great venue because there's a lot of noise coming from them, but the ring is enough away. You've got a little bit of space, so you can
Can I
kind
ask
of
you, as
thing
obviously what you do you feel like that noise contributes like massively to not to
better.
the event, but like the fighters?
Definitely, definitely. I think being I've done the amateurs. I've done the amateurs where I've sat there and I've introduced people, and there's been a little ruffle because they haven't brought they've come from far away. They've been brought in, and they haven't brought many people with them. Maybe one or two people from their gym, and
But
it's
amateurs,
that
what I'm saying is
is
smaller viewing on some
difficult.
platforms.
Yeah, that's more difficult for you to mentally. I think, as particularly if you want to box, you will box. I think that's what I'm trying to sort of say for big events, for the right type, the right crowd, and everyone making lots of noise. I've done shows in the York Hall, like I said, and massive crowds there shouting and jeering. Epsom, another great venue.
I've heard of Epsom. I actually want to get one in there.
He's a good show. One's in Manchester. There's loads of different venues across the thing, and all of them have got their own unique thing. But a lot of noise always just brings out the best in me as well. To
It's
be
the
honest with you,
atmosphere, isn't it?
yeah, it brings
The
a bit
atmosphere.
out of me as well because I'm like, actually, I need to deliver and I'm not saying that I don't deliver for anyone else, but it's like sometimes you actually now it's
You
like,
have to dig deep for it. I know what you're saying. I know what
yeah,
you're saying.
you dig deep and you kind of you give it that boost. So yeah,
All right, so
but it's anyway. There you go. I think having a big crowd is important, but again, not important if you love the boxing. Like I'm getting a vibe from you that you would be in there with even if you were in there with
I'd do it
10
for one
people.
person, mate. I'd do
Yeah,
it for one, mate. Do
you
you know,
know,
if that one person's sitting there and watching it, I'm happy.
yeah.
But
And there's
back
loads
to
of
it. Okay.
neutrals.
So we've got to Future Boxing.
Yeah, sorry, Future
So
Boxing,
so far,
March 7th. Yeah,
March 7th, and then I'm in talks with OB Promotions. I'm in talks with Fight Zumi. Obviously, Fight Zumi, if I'm honest with you, has my heart. Fight Zumi is the first promoter I jumped on with, and love them to pieces. So Fight Zumi, I'll be on as well. I'm very, very leaning towards Colchester, Future Boxing, the Trinity nightclub. I'm on the poster for that. I might be jumping on that, and maybe even the Maidenhead one if doesn't conflict with another event. As I said,
sounds
I
like
want to get the 10. I want to get the 10 done this year. I want to get minimum 10, maximum 15. That's
sounds
my
like a busy year for you so far already.
sounds like a war path.
How do people? Let's do the final round. Are you ready for your final round? We'll wrap it up from there.
Let's go.
But how do people follow you? How do they get involved with you? Let's just do that first before we do your final round.
I'm sitting here, Coza_boxing on Instagram. That's my main place. Obviously, anyone wants to talk about anything, I'm always here. Mental health, boxing, anything, all is. So that's one of the early places you can really get hold of me, obviously, or via email, coza.boxing@gmail.com. That's really the two ways.
Perfect. So, Corey, are you ready for your final round? Seconds out. Let's go. Southpaw or orthodox?
Orthodox.
Body shots or headshots?
Body shots.
Train alone or with a partner?
Train alone.
You already answered these questions, but
Yeah,
there you go. Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Heavy bag or speed bag?
Heavy bag.
Okay. Underdog or favorite?
Underdog.
Boxing gym or outdoors amongst the trees?
Both.
Which one?
You need both. You need both. You need both because both of them bring out the best in boxing gym mainly, but then outdoor secondly.
Gym, right, okay. Short and powerful punches or long and technical? I think I know
Long and
the
technical.
answer. There you go. Fight dirty or fight clean?
Fight clean. Respect our way round.
Loud crowd or quiet atmosphere?
Don't bother me. Loud crowd, a quiet atmosphere. Don't bother me.
Quick knockouts or strategic wins?
Strategic wins.
Hypothetical question, because this fight is never ever going to be signed the way this is going. AJ or Fury?
AJ, Watford. Come on, I'm from Watford. AJ, all the way.
I know. And there's a lovely picture of you in this gym as well, in the ring as well. So I fully expect the answer to be that as well. Thank you so much. We wish you every success on the fight shows you've got coming up. 28th in, where was that one again?
St Albans.
In St Albans, and then Kingston on the 7th of March. It's going to be some great fights. So hopefully, maybe I might see you at one of those. Maybe.
Definitely have to catch up at the end of the year when I've done my warpath.
I'll see. We'll catch up at the end of the year. That sounds like a plan. or even early next year when we've got some snow
Never,
on the
man,
ground, perhaps, or
never.
something, and we'll see whether we got to 10 or whether we got past 10. Because I think
I
it's
feel like
more than
I feel like
doable.
we're gonna get to 15 at least.
15. Okay.
That's my max. That's my max for this year. 15.
Ah,
Hey, remember I'm doing like 10% Luke Dyson right now.
True.
He goes crazy. I'm not going to be like that.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a few guys out there that I see every weekend or every other weekend, and I'm thinking, how many fights have you done tonight, tomorrow?
But you know what it is with me? I obviously I go through at least 5-6 people for my matchmaking. So me, I'd rather talk to people who will tell me, okay, Coza, he will knock you out. Don't take that. Do you know what I mean? Like, respectfully, bro, we got to stay in our lane sometimes. I'm not going to go fight a 10 bout or a 2 bout, am I?
No, you do what you've got to do what's right for you as well, because ultimately at the end of the day, there are guys out there who will take a fight every weekend, and they'll do 52, maybe more in a year.
It's a bit too much for me, mate.
That's too much for me as well, mate. But then again, I try and do the same. I try and do as many shows as I possibly can. I probably shouldn't do that. But there we are. Coza, thank you so much for coming on the Big Hype
Thank you for
podcast.
having me.
As I say, wish you every success in the fights you've got coming up. Look forward to seeing your progress. And yes, definitely we'll have you back on towards the end of the year, and we'll see how you got on, whether you got 10 or plus more, or we'll have a chat up and catch up about that. Sound fair enough?
Perfect, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Good man. Good man. Thanks very much for coming on the Big Hype podcast tonight.
Cheers, mate.
This has been a Big Hype production, edited and produced by Jonathan Millard, assisted by Riverside FM and distributed by Buzzsprout, available on all good podcast platforms. For more information, visit www.bighypepodcast.co.uk.